Welcome back. Our next guest says that public sector workers who are protesting for more of our tax dollars need to be reminded that they are servants of the public, not the other way around. But you wouldn't know it looking at the numbers regarding Wisconsin, which is where that protest took place.
Right. Kyle Olson is the founder of the EAGnews.org site. Scott, Kyle, welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. First off, why are they protesting when you find out what they make?
Well, that's what's interesting. I mean, we heard over the last year, we've heard about the 1% versus the 99%. And you contrast that with what we saw in Wisconsin with the huge protests and the demonstrations and the recalls and all of those sorts of things. And so what we decided to do was look at the numbers. And what we found is that 14% of the workforce in Wisconsin works for the government, and the other 86% works for in the private sector. And so what we did was we contrasted the government class with the producer class.
Right. And in fact, when you look, and you just gave the numbers where only 14% of the employees in Wisconsin are government employees. But then when you look at the per hour, when you break it down, it is jaw-dropping. A first-year teacher compensation averages out to about $56 an hour. That's a first-year teacher. A 10th-year teacher, $66 per hour. A typical producer class, you know, everybody else, they average $18 an hour.
That's right. So what we want to do is bring some perspective and bring some reality to this situation. And so we use numbers from Milwaukee Public Schools, which is the largest district in the state. And we showed that when you break it down per contracted hour, because many teacher contracts stipulate how many days and how many hours per day that teachers are required to work. And what we found is that for a first-year teacher, as you said, when you combine pay and benefits, it's $56 per hour that the school district is spending. And then you contrast that with the private sector. The average compensation per worker in that state is $37,000, which equals about $18 per hour. So there's a huge disparity, and that's what we tried to show in this animation.
And you know, maybe that is why Scott Walker continues to win the recall election, why the money hasn't poured in and the unions haven't rallied. It's because they're really, when it's all said and done, the squeaky wheel got the cameras, but they don't have the numbers.
That's exactly right, and it does appear that he is doing pretty well, because I think the whole collective bargaining rights issue is not playing because people aren't buying it. And in fact, that's why you've got the Democrats and the unions not even using that issue. They're bringing up other issues because the public is tuning into the fact that they're not on the union side.
If people would like to see the video, go to our website later on today, foxandfriends.com. Kyle, thank you very much for joining us today from Michigan.
Thank you.
Kyle Olson, nice job. Meanwhile, he's got the #1